What's good, y'all? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. So, what happens in a situation to when somebody pulls away, right? I call it the pull away method. It's something that typically happens with somebody that you're in a relationship with, or maybe it's somebody that you're getting to know. And it's like when it happens, it kind of throws you off. But first of all, what is the pull back method? That's basically when somebody is not communicating as much as they were at one point and they decide to kind of take their energy back, as I would like to say, right? Like they kind of become distant, they step away. And when somebody pulls back or pulls away, there's a number of reasons why they might do so. So let's talk about that first, because some of these reasons might have to do with you and some of them may have nothing to do with you at all. We're also going to talk about what do you do when people pull away? How do you respond? I'm more so referring to people that you have a romantic interest in, regardless if that's a person that you're just getting to know or a person that you've been dating for quite some time, or maybe just dating just as of recent, right? So first of all, when somebody pulls away, like I said before, it could be for a number of reasons. Number one, it could be that they have a lot going on in their lives. Maybe they've gotten really busy and they just got to step back for some things, and maybe they're having a hard time managing things. It happens, right? The second thing, or second reason, I should say, why people pull back, it could have been something that you did, right? Now, I'm not saying that this is an excuse for people to pull back, because I'm a firm believer in communication. And I believe if you've done something wrong or done something not to someone's liking, or if somebody has done that towards you, it needs to be addressed, right? Or if someone does it towards you, you need to be the one to address it. I think it's one of those things where it's very important to do so. But some people pull away for that very reason. Also, worst case scenario, some people pull away because they're simply losing interest. And I think that's the worst case scenario. That's not always the case. It sucks. But it's one of those things where it does happen, right? So what happens typically when somebody pulls away? Well, typically people, they get anxious, right? They start noticing different patterns, different behaviors, insecurities might start to flare up, and they're like, oh crap, I need to go after this person. Did I do something wrong? What's going on? What happened? So on and so forth. And you start panicking. So before you start panicking, I want you to take a deep breath, woosah, all that good stuff. And let me tell you what you should do if somebody starts to pull away. So number one, obviously don't panic, okay? It's so easy, and I'm telling you this from personal experience. It's so easy to feel like when somebody's pulling away, oh crap, I done lost them. No, that's not true. You have not necessarily lost them. There's a small possibility that you have, but for the most part, you have not, right? There are some things to consider. Don't overthink, but really just take a second, think, what has been changing as of lately? And if it totally caught you off guard, which a lot of times when people pull away, it does catch you off guard, think, was something going on before then? I know a lot of times we think, was it something that we did? I'm not saying you shouldn't think about that, but don't overthink it, especially when you know you're doing the right things. The first thing that you want to do is when somebody is pulling away, give them a little bit of space, right? Don't necessarily bombard them, because that's the worst thing that you can do when somebody pulls away. Because if you bombard them, it's just going to push them away even more. So don't do that. Give them a little bit of space. Maybe send a text message or a phone call or something to that extent. Communicate, hey, I've noticed you've been dissing a little bit. Is everything okay? After you've given them some time to, and some space a little bit. And address it from there. And depending on their response is how you move forward. You might be surprised. The person, after you give them a little bit of space, they might be like, okay, I can open up, because I've had time to process things. And again, it might be option number one, where the person was just like really busy. And, they might say, hey, I apologize. I know I was a little distant earlier today, or I've been a little distant these past 2 days. It's just been really crazy at work, or it's been some family situations going on. And, give them that space to open up and talk to you, right? Now, let's say it's option number two, and it is something that you did, right? Don't just jump to conclusions and be like, well, did I do something wrong? Because no, now you're kind of putting a little bit of pressure. When somebody pulls away, you don't want to put pressure on them. Allow them to come to you, right? I've had plenty of situations where I've been talking to people, rather it was a woman I wanted to get to know, or even my own lady, right? Where there was something I did and I didn't realize I did something wrong. And, they kind of pulled back because they were processing it and trying to figure out how to address me with it. You know what I'm saying? And I gave them the space to do so. When they did, I apologized for it, or we talked about it, aired it out, so on and so forth. Now, if it's option number three, where the person is just all of a sudden losing interest, because unfortunately that does happen. Um, Essentially, the only thing you can do is give them space, and there's really nothing you can do about it at that point. If the person's losing interest, they're losing interest. But I will say this: sometimes the opposite sex may pull away, or same sex, whatever you practice, right? Your potential partner or partner might pull away, and like I said before, if you continuously pressure them, if you will, um, it may cause them to pull away even more to the point of no return. So when somebody pulls away, you always want to make sure that you are not applying pressure. But do communicate though. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be like, oh, I'm going to just pull away and I ain't going to reach out to them until they come back. I'm going to go no contact. No. A lot of so-called YouTube gurus and social media gurus will tell you, oh, if a man or a woman pulls away, go no contact. No, I'm not saying that. At some point, you're going to have to be the one to reach out if you care about this person. Now, I'm not saying that the onus shouldn't be on the other person, because once again, like I said before, communication should be involved. But sometimes you do have to be the one to be like, hey, is everything okay? I ain't really heard from you in like 2 days, making sure everything is good. Or, I sent you a message a little earlier, just making sure, not to bombard you, but just want to make sure you're okay, so on and so forth. And yeah, so again, when somebody pulls away, it's never good. It's never fun, I should say. But just understand it's not necessarily always about you. It could be things that they have going on. And you got to be a little patient. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I'm not saying don't communicate. I'm not saying don't address the issue. And if you are somebody that pulls away from people, my recommendation is, communicate. Try to communicate. Let people know what's going on. Sometimes you can let people know in advance. Like I know I'll share this with my lady, or I'll share this with people that I care about in general. Hey, today's going to be kind of a busy day. I might not be reaching out as much. Or sometimes it just sneaks you by surprise. And when everything is said and done, go back to that person and say, hey, look, I apologize. I know I haven't been as communicative lately. Such and such is going on, blah, blah, blah. And if there's a real issue going on between you guys in a relationship or potential relationship, make sure you address it, okay? Marcus Rage from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Love you guys. Hope you have an amazing day. See you soon.